Nourishment and drink are probably the most basic pieces of life. We couldn't live without the sustenance they give. Despite the fact that there are a few people on the planet who are really starving and would eat anything, present-day man in most industrialized human advancements has made a big deal about a diversion out of eating.
For a very long time, we have been left with almost similar assortments of chocolate, in spite of the fact that you won't hear a great many people griping about that. Obviously, there is the scrumptious white chocolate. Most assortments of milk or dim chocolate are genuinely comparative, they simply have increasingly real cocoa in them. Then came a Swiss chocolatier named Barry Callebaut. April 16, 2018. This phenomenal treat should have less of the standard cocoa taste with no insane hereditary change. It's made with a current sort of cocoa bean that is prepared before aging. This is a licensed competitive.
Subsequent to embracing their new dietary patterns, numerous veggie lovers miss the flavor of numerous nourishments they were once used to. American solace food sources that the vast majority of us couldn't envision managing without. Vegetarians attempt to fill this void with substitutions produced using plants, however most concur that a veggie burger truly doesn't imitate the experience of an appropriate burger with a genuine meat patty. Enter a little gathering of vegetarian researchers who need that experience and would like to change over meat eaters to veggie lovers by giving them a legitimate substitute. Quite a while back, these researchers began Impossible Foods, an organization in Silicon Valley, to make that ideal phony burger. The organization has been utilizing entangled nourishment science to copy the taste, surface, and whole experience of eating a burger with a genuine meat patty. Different plant items go into their recipe, yet beet juice is the way to causing it to appear the burger really bleeds too. They express that the way into their prosperity was something many refer to as heme, a structure square of life that is found in both meat and plants and helped them impersonate the taste and surface fittingly. There is as of now constrained testing of the Impossible Burger in New York, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. You may likewise luck out and discover it locally on the grounds that Impossible Burger is attempting to get however many cafes as could reasonably be expected to evaluate their item. Because of hereditarily altered creatures, GMOs, we presently have crossbreed leafy foods with exceptional flavors that you could never envision finding in nature. A few people discredit these nourishments since they are stressed over GMOs despite the fact that researchers state they are not risky. Be that as it may, for the individuals who are stressed over GMOs, they can inhale simple with regards to this astounding, delicious treat. As indicated by the rancher who developed them, cotton treat grapes were painstakingly structured by crossbreeding different types of wild grapes until the ideal flavor was accomplished. No hereditary designing or research facility craftiness was involved. Cotton sweet grapes were imagined, developed, and eventually concocted by a solitary rancher who had a great thought and begun working gradually on his new creation. They can be found all things considered supermarkets today and, because of their oddity, will in general cost somewhat more than conventional grapes. However, a great many people who have attempted them feel that the taste is certainly justified regardless of the cost. In visually impaired trials, the vast majority have no desires in advance yet distinguish these grapes as having an aftertaste like cotton treats. A couple of years prior, a husband and spouse group of designers wowed the sharks on ABC's Shark Tank when they utilized fluid nitrogen to make flavorful dessert directly before everybody. Everything except one of the sharks appreciated the heavenly treats and were intrigued by both the wow factor and the well-being of the process. However, the sharks were not dazzled enough to offer the innovators an arrangement. In spite of the fact that they preferred the thought, they felt the business wasn't the place it should have been. The organization needed to seek after diversifying, and the sharks didn't concur with that marketable strategy. In spite of the fact that the sharks didn't contribute, the organization originators have proceeded on their voyage. Below Zero ice cream has gradually begun diversifying all through the nation and needs to make this energizing new experience a worldwide brand for the new technique wows kids and grown ups the same. It additionally expels the requirement for a cooler, which means to a lesser degree a carbon impression and lower vitality costs for the franchisee. The procedure includes utilizing fluid nitrogen to rapidly solidify whatever flavor fixings you need. At that point you simply mix it appropriately. Not very far in the past in relative terms, filtered water was an uncommon item that was just utilized by individuals in country or different territories without appropriate access to consumable water. At that point, during the 1990s, filtered water began to turn into a tremendous pattern. Presently landfills everywhere throughout the world are flooding with plastic bottles. Plastic enjoys quite a while to reprieve down. The measure of refuse made from these holders is for all intents and purposes whole world destroying, despite the fact that numerous supporters have pushed for individuals to purchase reusable water bottles. An organization called Skipping Rocks Lab has concocted an item called HoHo, which they accept can reform how we drink water in a hurry. To lessen the measure of waste far and wide, they made a steady, flavorless circle from which you can drink water. At that point you can eat the sphere afterward. 5 Made of green growth, it is biodegradable in the event that you choose to discard it as opposed to eating it. The makers accept that these spheres could supplant plastic water bottles totally with the correct circulation. They would likewise extraordinarily diminish the trash issue from our gigantic plastic utilization. One of the all the more intriguing new bits of culinary hardware is the counter frying pan. It was initially concocted by Grant Achatz, a visitor judge on Top Chef, who utilized it in his Chicago eatery. After individuals began to see his innovation, he worked with Philip Preston, a specialist on new culinary gadgets, to make the counter frying pan accessible for the worldwide mass market. This gadget enables you to streak stop or semi-solidify nourishments in a split second. Shockingly, most people can't stand to purchase the counter iron. For the most part, eateries with higher spending plans can manage the cost of them. With the essential models checking in at around $1,500 each, a great many people cooking at home will consider them as an excessively costly luxury. However, for the individuals who would like to give them a shot, the people at Instructables have your back. They furnish a bit-by-bit outline with pictures to assemble a working DIY form of the counter frying pan for about $15. On the off chance that you are helpful with apparatuses and appreciate making things, you could resemble the insane culinary specialists on TV for under $20. As nourishment sources become scarcer around the globe, individuals are winding up progressively stressed over how we are going to encourage everybody. The world as of now battles with yearning in numerous areas around the world, and some believe that environmental change will exacerbate things discernibly inside the following few decades. There is additionally worry that the hamburger business has a colossal carbon impression and may not be completely economical later on. To battle these stresses, a few researchers have gone to disturbing lengths. They are attempting to get us to eat bugs. When you move beyond the yuck factor, eating bugs is definitely not an ill-conceived notion. They are high in protein, and there are huge amounts of them around. They are likewise moderately simple to breed. A great many people are netted out by the thought, however business visionaries have figured out how to get individuals started. They have made a flour from crickets, which helps expel the sicken factor 7. This flour has been utilized in numerous effective items from chips to protein bars. Nobody knows whether it will get on in a significant manner in the Western world, yet it would be an extraordinary nourishment source. As flour utilized for heating, it might help individuals to move beyond their underlying second thoughts about eating bugs. Over the most recent quite a long while, one of the most discussed developments in nourishment is the new Sous Vide cooking pattern. This includes putting nourishment inside plastic packs and afterward submerging the sacks in water to gradually and reliably cook with small looking after children work required in between. Many gourmet specialists and cafes have begun utilizing the technique since it enables them to accomplish a ton of things on the double without giving a lot of consideration. Sous vide additionally brings about almost flawless cooking each time. Quite a couple of individuals think about this technique for cooking unbelievably vainglorious. Truth be told, most home cooks are persuaded that they can't do this without an enormous venture. Inundation circulators and uncommon thermometers for the procedure can interfere with you thousands once you have a full set, yet Martha Stewart has your back. She discloses how to sous vide at home on the cheap. You simply need fundamental cooking thermometers, plastic Ziploc sacks, and the best possible information. It might be simpler and neater to utilize extravagant gear, however you can do the procedure fine and dandy at home without it. As of late, via web-based networking media, dark frozen yogurt has turned into a major pattern. It began as a reaction to the ongoing unicorn pattern, particularly after the catastrophe wherein Starbucks gave a few of their baristas apprehensive breakdowns. The first shop to sell this creation was the Little Damage Dessert Shop in Los Angeles, California. Be that as it may, the thought before long took off. You can't copyright a formula, and after a short time, individuals found that the frozen yogurt was made utilizing actuated charcoal. Claim to fame shops wherever began doing it. Despite the fact that it is a heavenly and innocuous pattern for the vast majority, a few people ought to be very wary before they appreciate this new treat. You may have heard that grapefruit can have awful connections with specific meds. Indeed, frozen yogurt made with initiated charcoal can cause comparative problems. 9. The reason is that enacted charcoal can be a strong detoxifier. This can draw the prescriptions out of your body, along these lines making them become inadequate. It's not only an issue for individuals who are sick. The actuated charcoal in dark dessert can likewise influence individuals who take nutrients or conception prevention pills. Al Bubba Baker was a previous NFL player who burned through 13 seasons as a guarded lineman for a few groups. He finished his decent profession with the Cleveland Browns in 1990. Be that as it may, in the same way as other previous NFL players, he escaped sports and wound up exhausted and thinking about what to accomplish for another career. Well, Bubba truly preferred ribs, however his significant other didn't. They were excessively chaotic. He needed her to have the option to appreciate ribs as he did, however he didn't need her to need to acknowledge a Frankenstein rib creation like the stuff you get from McDonald's temporarily. In this way, he began chipping away at a procedure which he licensed to remove the bones from an entire rib and keep the meat flawless. He had just $154,000 in complete deals when he went on Shark Tank, yet the sharks were inconceivably dazzled by him, his item, and his patent on a nourishment procedure. At last, he made an arrangement with Damon John, who helped him meet some significant officials at the parent organizations of Hardee's and Carl's Jr. They made a multimillion-dollar arrangement to purchase his boneless ribs to sell at their drive-through eateries around the nation, and his business jumped to $16 million out of 3 years. Pastry specialist's straightforward dream to enable his better half to appreciate one of his preferred nourishments has made him a multimillionaire whose family is currently set for life. And, if the possibility of a rib sandwich with an entire, bona fide boneless rib sounds heavenly to you, simply advance over to a Carl's Jr. or on the other hand a Hardee's eatery, where regardless they highlight sandwiches with the new boneless ribs on their menus.